Hi, I'm Jonathan Lemish. I'm the Chief Product Officer and co-founder at Metric. A bit about my background, career-wise, I studied commerce at the University of New South Wales, majoring in information systems, business strategy, and management. And early on in my career, I did some internships, and my first role out of uni were all at very large corporates in kind of business analyst type roles. And whilst I think I knew, the the roles were interesting. I wasn't passionate working for such large corporations, and I realized that I really wanted to make a difference and see the impact of my work. So from that point on, which is about 9 years ago now, I've exclusively worked at startups. So went from a multinational, 30,000 person corporation to basically a one person startup, and I was the first hire. So yeah, I transitioned in startups. You tend to wear a lot of hats, and I did some project management, general management, product management, and I was fortunate to get exposure to a lot of different things. But I've exclusively worked in startups since in different verticals, taking from recruitment tech to shipping tech, back to and this is in different geographies as well. And came back to Australia about 5 years ago, from New York and Southeast Asia, where I got a job at a fintech as a lead product manager. And after several years working there and a lot of growth, I decided that I actually wanted to start my own thing. So that's when, beginning of this year, I joined an accelerator and started Metric. My career definitely didn't take a very linear path. So I think, how I got to where I am now was through a series of, trying things out, working out what I hate, and scratching itches. So I knew I wanted to go to New York and work at a startup, and I did that. I knew I wanted to travel for work, so I worked at industries that allowed me to do that. I knew I wanted to, at one point, found my own company, and that's what I'm doing now. So I wouldn't say it's been a linear, a ladder for me. It's working out what I like doing, what I don't like doing, and often that's by trial and error. Best and worst career advice I've ever received. I think uh, the best advice I've received or heard, probably do what you love. It's much harder to work an 8 hour day in a job that you hate and you're not passionate about than a 16 hour day for a company and a role that you are passionate about. And I saw that firsthand. So I think that that's definitely true. You may also have other things outside of work that you're passionate about, but you've got to um, you need to enjoy the work you're doing as well. I think, at least to an extent. Doesn't have to be your entire life. Doesn't have to consume you, but you're spending a lot of your day doing it. And even 8 hours is hard to do at a job that you don't like. Worst advice. I think anyone that says, that they work smarter, not harder. I think, yeah, of course, there's an element to working smart, but there's no substitute for hard work. So watch out for that, and yeah, you got to put in the effort and the hours. What do I wish I knew when I started my career? Um, Probably that you shouldn't leave career development to chance. Prioritize it yourself, and find organizations that demonstrably value it. So everyone says that they value, building up their staff and helping you with career progression. Ultimately, you've got to look out for you first. So I think, yeah, if I had my time over, I would put more of a focus on that, and choosing to work with employers and with roles that help me accelerate that. Ooh, the biggest mistake I've ever made professionally. Probably at one of the startups I was with. The writing was on the wall that it wasn't going to make it, and I blindly just put my head down and tried to make it work, and assumed that there was, I didn't practically look at the situation and say, this may not pan out for the company and therefore for me. And as a result of that, the company shut down very quickly overnight, as startups sometimes can, and it was quite. Yeah, it was quite a sudden shock for me, and that put me on the back foot for my career. So I think make sure you prioritize, your own career, at least as high as the company you're working for. Obviously, you want that to succeed, but if you're not yourself the founder, you've got to be the one looking out for you. So that was probably my biggest mistake. In terms of keys to success, I'm constantly striving for it, and feeling like I can do more. But I think, for me, what has worked has been, actually taking risks, and not being afraid to fail and learning from those failures. So, I left the comfort of, a comfortable job in Sydney because I wanted to live in a different country and work in a completely different environment. So I upped my life and went overseas, and I did that again from New York. I went to Southeast Asia and took another job in different industries. Often when I felt like the role or the industry was foreign to me, or above me, I took a risk and I wanted to try that. And then similarly, and I always had an itch to scratch in terms of founding my own business. And it's a risk. You're giving up a comfort of a salary, but I think only good things come from it. Even if it's a failure, you learn. You learn much faster rate than you would, sitting in a comfortable role. And I think from a career perspective, I think it's for the best as well. So yeah, take risks and don't be afraid to fail.